Hi, I'm Robby Bobby, adult child, para-alcoholic. As we continue with this series, I'd like to share something I came across in the Beginner's Handbook, recently published by ACA. In Appendix C, which is on page 64, it says, Tony A's version of the 12 steps is not in the yellow workbook due to copyright issues. Still, some work groups choose to include this information in their 12-step work. A group can decide to introduce and reference Tony A's version of the 12 steps when the standard ACA steps are referenced in the ACA 12-step workbook, so long as the group does not violate copyright laws. Therefore, what we're doing in this video, comparing the standard steps with the Tony A steps, is 100% condoned by ACA World Service. We'll now continue with Step 3, Standard Version. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand God. Tony A Version. We made a decision to practice self-love and to trust in a higher power of our understanding. So why are these two versions so different? Well, we'll start by looking at the standard version through the lens of the original 12-step program, AA. When the steps were first published in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous in 1939, it received quite a bit of attention in newspapers and magazines. After all, alcoholism had been a problem for a long time, with seemingly no cure. In fact, even prohibition didn't work. Despite this fact, I'm sure many people were surprised that none of the steps, not one, instruct the alcoholic to not drink. If you didn't understand the true nature of alcoholism, you may have expected the steps to read something like this. Step 1, do not drink liquor. Step 2, do not drink beer or wine. Step 3, do not drink on weekends. Step 4, do not drink during the week. Step 5, do not drink with friends. Step 6, do not drink alone. I think you get the idea. Although, if you wanted to cover all the bases, there would be 1,200 steps, and they still wouldn't work. The success of AA and the 12-step program was based on the belief that alcoholism was a spiritual problem, which required a spiritual solution. Hence the need to turn one's will and life over to the care of God. The purpose of Step 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, is to dismantle the ego, which allows God to fill the resulting power vacuum. The decision we make in Step 3 is necessary in preventing the ego from reasserting its imaginary powers, thereby edging God out, which is the acronym for ego. The remaining steps, as well as recovery, depend upon it. This is the basic philosophy of every 12-step program, including ACA, whose only modification is admitting being powerless over the effects of alcoholism or family dysfunction, as opposed to alcohol itself. And these effects are the 14 traits, otherwise known as the laundry list. However, the overarching effect is believing one is unlovable, even unworthy of love, including self-love, which is what created and sustains the traits. This is also a spiritual problem, which also requires a spiritual solution, to love ourselves. Tony A figured this out. You see, he was the author of the laundry list, which helped define the ACA Fellowship in 1978, so he understood the 14 traits on a very deep level. And he understood the solution. However, telling an adult child to love themselves is like telling an active alcoholic to stop drinking. It's pointless. He also believed it was equally pointless to ask an adult child to turn their will and life over to the care of God, since adult children have trust issues deeply rooted in childhood. Parents are a child's original higher power. Therefore, adult children need to work on trusting a higher power of their understanding. Keep in mind, ACA's literature states that our parents were merely the instruments of our existence, that our true parent is a loving higher power. This is what we need to trust. This all comes together in Tony A's Step 3. We made a decision to practice self-love and to trust in a higher power of our understanding. So, in summary, each version of Step 3 is a spiritual solution to a spiritual problem. Regardless of which version you take, recovery depends on the decision being made not only when we formally work Step 3, but rather each and every day for the rest of our lives, and then look for opportunities to put that decision into action. And that wraps up this video, which is meant to be food for thought. If you got something out of it, please click like and subscribe and forward to a fellow traveler. I'm Robby Bobby. Thank you for listening, and as always, keep coming back.